Today is a story, an update on the house. It is August 28th, 2021. And a quick refresher. The house was supposed to be done January 8th, 2021. Lance promised that it would be done by the end of March, which never happened. Lance pulled up stakes, left the job site on April 9th, and has not been back since. So I believe we're now in the 5th month. We're going on the 5th month. We're halfway, 4.5 months. Lance Jochims, Waukesha builder, has not set foot on this site since then. Now, that's the way Lance rolls. Doesn't call, doesn't write, hasn't told anybody why he stopped working on the project, but he has. Now, what we're going to talk about today is 6 months. And people are going, what the heck does 6 months have to do with anything? 6 months in the state of Wisconsin is an important number. Now, I spoke to a lady named Kimberly who works for the heating and air conditioning company, because I got all this paperwork from my attorney a few days ago. And not knowing exactly what all of it meant, there was attached to it a conditional waiver. And I thought, I didn't know there were things called conditional waivers. So I called Kimberly and said, hey, what's with this conditional waiver thing? It is a waiver that has conditions, which seems sort of obvious now after I talked to Kimberly. And the condition on this waiver is that the waiver is conditional on actual payment of the amount shown above. And the amount shown above is $11,054. And it's sent to Lancelot Builders. And it was dated April 29th. So I realized that he stopped working on April 9th. He got a conditional waiver. And the reason they send conditional waivers is so that they can say, hey, listen, we're filing a lien on the house, and this is the requirement. Now, 6 months is important because if the heating and cooling company does not, I repeat, does not file a lien within 6 months of the last date of service, and the installation was done on February 19th, 2021, where they sent an invoice for the finished project, which was the $11,054. If they wait till 6 months later before they file a lien, they don't get to file a lien. And let me say that again. If this company had waited 6 months and a day to finally file a lien against Lance or me or whoever else after their last when they were finished, they have no legal standing. They cannot collect their money. They cannot file a lien on the house. Now, clearly, one would assume, it's an assumption, that Lance knows that. And he was not paying them the money because that's why they sent him an invoice for $11,054. And they were done back in February 19th, 2021, where they sent an invoice to Lance for the work finished. So February, March, April. So we're looking at 2 months later, Lance gets a conditional waiver. And I've got to say, Kimberly, the lady who works at this company, and I spoke to, one smart cookie. She's apparently been in the business for a couple of decades and has seen this behavior by other contractors. And by this behavior, I mean, she has seen people who will entertain a conversation with the company, her company. I'm not saying she owns it, I'm just saying it's a company she works for. The idea being that if that contractor who has not paid the bill is able to delay a lien being applied for 6 months and a day, nothing can be done. So what Lance did is he talked to Jeff, the salesman, and according to this letter, and Jeff was saying, hey, we had our conversation by phone. We're more than willing to set up a payment plan with Lancelot Builders to keep the process moving forward. I love the words like process moving forward. I have no idea what that means. But I love the way people don't say what they mean. They say something else. And then Jeff said we would have to add interest and administrative fees to any plan agreed upon. So Lance, of course, prior to that, had sent an email to Jeff. And this email was dated July 22nd. Now realize it's August now. It's the end of August. And he says, Jeff, we have started the arbitration process for Mr. Montgomery. Well, I can tell you, as of today, no arbitration has occurred. So what Lance thinks is starting an arbitration process may be different than what I think it means, or you may think it means. I guess maybe if you just think about it, that's starting the process. So in July 22nd, Lance tells Jeff, the salesperson for the company, oh, we've started the arbitration process. And he asked, can you send me a list of visits and repairs that you did between March and April 15th, as well as times you reached out to Mr. Montgomery directly? Well, they never reached out to me directly. I mean, I don't even know what that means. Reached out to him directly by text, by email, by phone, by site visit. It's funny how the English language has been perverted to the point where you can say something as vague as you like, and everybody assumes they know what you mean. But I'm getting off the mark. So 6 months is the important part. The final bill was sent on February. So if the HVAC company had not sent any paperwork by 6 months and a day, which would have been August 20th, 2021, that's a rough approximation, they couldn't do anything. So according to Kimberly, many contractors, and I don't know if this is what Lance did, will entertain a conversation in order to extend the period of time to 6 months and beyond. And that way, when the company finally wises up and realizes that the contractor is not going to pay them, that 6 months and a day has gone by and the company has no option. They have to eat the bill. Now, Jeff apparently didn't know that, but had to ask Kimberly, hey, is it okay if we give this guy a final lien waiver? And Kimberly, having been around the block a few times, said, not going to happen. Now, at this point in time, in July 21st, Lance is still working I'm going to work up a payment plan. We'll get this taken care of. Give me some more time. And since he's not paid them a dime, since I talked to Kimberly last week, he is just playing a game. He has no intention to set up a payment plan. It never is going to happen. So be wary of any contractor who wants to get into a long, involved conversation so that you get the impression that they're genuinely interested in doing a payment plan. Because for some contractors, that's just an attempt to get 6 months and a day. I don't know if that was the case with Lance, but I can tell you the following. As of this time, no arbitration's been started. Lance said back in July, we started the arbitration process. Clearly that's never happened. Lance has made no payments to the company, even though he said in their conversation, and I'm quoting the letter, that he plans to start paying. Well, he's not paid him a dime. So I always think the best of people. I think that they're honest, that they're straightforward. And what this has taught me is that a lot of people are not that way. I'm not saying Lance is that way. You've got to make your own decision. I'm just presenting you with the facts as I know them. In paper, black and white. This is what I've got. So it's now the end of August. No arbitration has started. We're 4.5 months into nothing being done on the house. Lance entertained a payment plan, apparently, with the company, but has not paid a dime. And he's just not doing anything. He's not paying for the bill that was submitted to them in February, or submitted to Lance. So Does this mean he's being sneaky or devious? Does he ever plan on paying the bill? Well, I can ask my attorney, and when my attorney asks his attorney, Lance does not offer an answer that we know of. His attorney has not come back and said, oh, Lance is having trouble financially, or Lance had a shortage of equipment, or Lance had a shortage of this or that. So we still don't know what's going on. My point in all of this rambling is 6 months and a day really matters. And when someone starts working you by saying, oh, we got to get a payment plan going, be suspicious that they're not really intending to do a payment plan. Because realize it should have been paid back in February. Lance had the money. He had the third payment out of 4. So you got to sort of go, wait a minute. He's just jerking around because he stopped working in April. So there's January, February. This bill was submitted in February, March, April. So almost 2 months later, Lance quit working on the job and had not paid the bill submitted by his subcontractor. And then entertains a conversation about how we need to work up a payment plan, blah, 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 blah. And one interpretation that I got from Kimberly is this is just a delaying technique. And Lance hasn't paid a single dime. So the beat goes on. It's kind of sad. This is just the way it is. Suck it up, Buttercup. And we'll see how it turns out. So that's it. Sorry, it's a little windy today. It's actually nice out here. I'm sitting at the garage at the opening. It's really pleasant. A little humid, but that's normal for this part of the country. And we'll see how things turn out. But I thought it was important to give you an update. Realize that conditional lien waivers are not the same as waivers. They're conditional. And that if a contractor starts to engage you in a conversation, assume you're a subcontractor and say, well, let's work out a payment plan, still submit the paperwork for a conditional waiver. Because the company is going to file an intent to file a lien. They don't have to file a lien yet. All they have to do is file an intent to file a lien. And what that does is it puts a marker in the timeline and says, we plan to file a lien. And we're within the 6 months. So it can be 9 months from now, 12 months from now. We have not lost our opportunity to file a lien. We haven't gone past 6 months and a day. And I suspect if I were a contractor and I had no intention of ever paying the bill, and then I found out that the company had an employee like Kimberly that was smart and had seen this game played before, that I would be kind of bothered. I'd go, darn, I missed my opportunity. I thought I'd get him 6 months and a day. Then the lien wouldn't be an issue, be scot-free with $11,054. Now, this is just speculation on my part. Do I know that Lance did this? I have no idea. All I know is what I've told you in terms of what's in black and white in a letter dated to Lance. So be careful, be suspicious, trust people, love them, assume they're doing the right thing. But when things don't feel right, when you haven't been paid, don't let 6 months and a day go by as you start working out a payment plan. Because, nice guys sometimes finish last. And Jeff clearly was interested in just making this work. Let's get a payment plan. Let's not have to go to legal issues. And I don't think Jeff understood it was never going to happen. And as far as I know, having talked to Kimberly last week, not a single dime has been paid to the debt that Lance owes this company. Not a single penny of the $11,054 has been paid. And it's too bad. I feel sorry for the company. They did a great job. I have no complaints about the quality of work they did. They treated me very well. And like I said, I gave Kimberly a call. She was delightful, very straightforward, answered my questions, no deviousness. So she is used to seeing this kind of behavior from contractors in the past. So she was not caught flat-footed. She wasn't caught off guard. She wasn't confused. She wasn't surprised at what has happened so far. In fact, She's smart enough that she figured out that this might be the game that's being played. So we'll see how things go. Maybe next week Lance will pay off the $11,054. I'll be dead wrong. And of course, if that happens, I will be glad to do a video on that, because I have no desire to malign anyone. I just want to keep you, the consumer, informed about the things that could get you in trouble. And if you're a subcontractor and you happen to be listening to this, I don't know what the law is in your state, but it always pays to just submit the paperwork that says you file an intent for a lien. You don't have to do the lien yet, you just file the intent. And that's as good as filing the lien. So be careful, and I will talk to you later. Have fun, bye.